Hi friends, in this session we are going to learn about AMBA protocol, mainly AHB. AHB is Advanced High Performance Bus. In this, which is mainly developed to meet the requirements of high performance synthesizable designs. To meet the requirements of those high performance synthesizable designs, this AHB has been used. In this AHB protocol, in this session we will concentrate on the orbiter. Since AHB involves with multi-master, multi-slaves transfers, and in this orbiter is the mainly key role which decides which master has to access the bus and which master. Since all the masters sends the bus request to the orbiter, orbiter will select only the one, will allocates the bus only to the single master. Even all are send the bus request, it allocates the bus to the only the one master. That is based on priority, and orbiter follows some priority schemes to allocate the bus to the requested master. In this, I will explain you with the slides what is orbiter, how it works, what the sinusoid space, and in this I want to tell you about different variations, how the orbiter behaves with the different This is our starting slide, which shows about advanced microcontroller bus architecture AMBA. In this, we are going to discuss about AHB orbiter variations. This is the bus interconnection of AHB protocol. In this, we have seen that in this bus interconnection, we have 3 masters and 4 slaves: master 1, master 2, master 3, and slave 1, slave 2, slave 3, and slave 4. This protocol mainly concentrates how these 3 masters and 4 slaves interact with each other while the data transfer takes place. In this, you have seen this, each master has their own address, write data signal, and HR data, and these signals are sent to an address. If you have seen here, H address of each master is taken place to a mux, which is address and control mux, and the second master address is also taken to the same mux, and H address of third master also taken to the same mux, while HW data of master 1 is taken to the write data mux, and master 2 HW data of master 2 is also taken to write data mux, HW of master 3 also taken to the write data mux. In this way, all the address and write data and control signals are sent to their respective muxes, and the control of selecting these signals are in the hands of orbiter. That means all the masters will send their bus request and their address and control signals to the muxes, and orbiter will select which master has to use the bus. And in other side, the slave has, we have seen here, the slave has HR data signal, which is the output from the slave, and all the HR data signals of all the slave 1, slave 2, slave 3 are given to a mux, which is the read data mux. In this, the decoder will select and send the respective data to the data from master to the respective slave. In this manner, these 3 masters and 3 slaves interact with each other, and this orbiter plays a role of defining which master has to access the bus. This is the block diagram of AHB orbiter. In this orbiter block diagram, we have seen that the thing which are on the left hand side are the inputs to the edge orbiter, and right hand side are the outputs of the orbiter. If you have seen here, the inputs are H bus request, H locx, H split X, H trans, H response, and H ready. These are the inputs to the AHB orbiter, which is aligned, and H reset and H lock signals are the global signals or global input signals. The output signals are H grant X, H master and H master lock. This is how I were represented. Output signals are H grant X, H master lock, master to split cable, slave. Now we will learn each of the signals while describing the variation of the while describing 10 variations of this orbiter for different transfers, like we will come to know in my later slides. These are the 10 different variations how the orbiter behaves for different transfers. One is we are going to learn about non-sequential transfer, how the orbiter behaves and how its signal changes. Another is sequential transfer, split non-sequential transfer, split sequential transfer, lockout non-sequential transfer, lockout sequential transfer, retry non-sequential, retry sequential transfer, and non-sequential error transfer and sequential error transfers. These are the 10 scenarios which we are going to know how the orbiter behaves, how its signal varies, how the orbiter is allocating the bus to the masters based on the how it priority follows to grant the bus to the master. The first thing we are going to discuss are non-sequential transfers and how the orbiter behaves for a non-sequential transfer. Initially, before going to learn this transfer, just we will come out of the signals, what are there and what is the performance, means what are the characteristics, and what does it affect has on the bus, what it is going to intimate. We will come to know upon these signals. First we will come to know what are the signals that were mainly considered for the orbiter. One is H clock, which is a global signal. Other is H bus request, H lock, H split, H grant, H trans, H burst, H ready, H response, H master lock. These are the signals which mainly take part in the HB orbiter. You have seen that in this there are some input signals and some output signals. Now we will know this way. We will know this transfer once we will go to the background. Background knowledge of these each signals for a while. After knowing this each signal for a while, again we will come back and we will discuss how this orbiter varies for each clock cycle and how this signal varies and what is their effect on the giving the bus to the master by the orbiter. The first signal that we are going to know are H bus request. It is a signal from master to the orbiter which indicates that the bus master requires the bus. That means each master will asset a signal to the orbiter that master wants to use the bus, and we have a limit for the masters in this AHB. That is, we can have a maximum of up to 16 bus masters, and in this there are some noting points for H bus request. If you are transferring for any lockout transfer, H bus request is aligned along with the H lock X. That means since it is a lockout transfer, as long as the H lock X is asserted, H bus request is also asserted. For undefined length burst means there is a burst. That means there is a there are some transfers whose address and control depends on the previous transfers. That is burst. In this, what happening is, if there is a burst, but we don't know what its length. It may be anything. So for undefined length burst, the bus master should continue to assert the request until it has started the last transfer. So it needs to H bus request must be asserted continuously until it reaches the last transfer, so that when the last transfer has completed, the orbiter can assign the bus to the masters. So In this way, for undefined length, master should continue accept the request until it has completed the last transfer. For a fixed length burst, HBus request is applied the last transfer. In this way, now we have concentrated only on the HBus request when the master has to accept the bus. No, when the master has to request the bus to the orbiter. And these are three scenarios for locked, undefined length and fixed length burst. And now second we are going to learn is H split X. H split X. It is indicates that master is ready to perform split transfer, and it is an guidance. It is an guidance to orbiter to grant the bus to the split master. This one will, I think, you may come about split transfer. It is mainly used when we are performing split transfer in AHB. Split transfer, when it is asserted, HBus request is also must asserted on the same cycle, and HBus request and HSplit X are sampled when H grant is low. That means when the arbiter shows that H grant is low, that means bus is not allocated to any master. At that time, HBus request will assert the bus request in normal transfer. While it is performing in the split transfer, when H split is X and H bus is also asserted, and this both will asserted only when H grant is low. Next is H trans. H trans is nothing but which depends the type of transfer, that is ideal transfer or non-sequential transfer or sequential transfer or busy transfer. In this transfer, ideal transfer. Ideal transfer. It is a transfer in which master drives its state to idle. If the master does not want to access to the bus, it indicates that no data transfer is required. That means master has granted the bus, but it does not want to access the bus. That means it describes idle cycles. It describes idle. That means no data transfer is transferred during this transfer. And while this master is performing idle, the slave must always provide a zero weight OK response to the ideal transfers, and transfer should be ignored by the slave. That means the master says, I don't have nothing to do not since it is idle state, no data is transferred, so this should be known to the slave, and the transfer should be ignored by the slave. And other is non-sequential one. In this, H trans indicates the address and the control signals are unrelated to the previous transfer. That means indicates the first transfer burst a single or single transfer. That is non-sequential. Indicates the first transfer burst or a single transfer. Next slide will come to know about sequential transfer. Sequential transfer. The remaining transfers than a first transfer in a burst are sequential and address related to the previous transfer. We have seen here in non-sequential transfer, that means there is a one transfer which is independent transfer, and this address and control signals are not related to the previous transfer. That means, for example, there are two transfers, and it's transfer 1, transfer 2. If there is a relation between the address and the any control signals between transfer and transfer 2, they are shown to be the sequential transfers. Since it is non-sequential, it is independent transfer. These address and control signals not have any relation to its previous transfers, and it is an independent transfer. That is why it is called non-sequential transfer. The other thing we need to note it out is, in any sequential transfer, the first transfer should be a non-sequential transfer. That's why it indicates that the first transfer of a burst are a single. It is in any burst, the first transfer is non-sequential transfer, or if it is a single transfer, it is a non-sequential trans type. In sequential transfer, there is a relation between the address and the control signals with respect to the previous transfer. Next is busy. Busy transfer type allows the master to insert idle cycles in the middle of the burst of transfers. For example, a transfer is happening. A transfer is happening, that is a burst transfer, and in this middle of the burst, the master the main meaning of the busy transfer is, in a burst is happening. For example, there are 4 bursts. We are using the burst for transfer. That means we have 4 transfers which are sequentially happening. So there is a transfer 1, transfer 2, transfer 3 and transfer 4. After transfer 1 has completed, after transfer 2 has completed, after transfer 2 has completed, my H trans is changed to busy. In the sense that transfer which is that master is continuing, what is mainly intimates when there is a busy in the burst of transfer means it shows that the master wants to master is continuing the burst of transfer, but that next transfer cannot take place immediately. That means it takes some time, and so that's why it shows busy. It accesses the bus, but it indicates that next transfer cannot immediately, it can't can't access the bus. It takes some time. That is busy. Whereas idle, it intentionally not want to access the bus. Whereas the busy, it want to access the bus, but it takes time for the next transfer to complete the transfer. That is the busy. If you have seen here, busy transfer allows bus master to insert idle cycles in middle of the transfers. The transfer should be ignored by the slave, and slave must always provide a 0 wide OK response. This transfer type indicates that bus master is continuing with the burst of transfer, but the next transfer cannot takes place immediately. Means next transfer takes some time to complete to take place immediately. When a master uses a busy transfer, address on the control signals must reflect the next transfer in the burst. That means it accesses the bus, but it takes time to complete to take place the next transfer immediately, so that when this busy has when the master has provided busy, during that time all the address on the control signals should reflect the next transfer in the burst. What is the next transfer in the burst? It should be have it. That means the transfer which is said that I am busy, that transfer address and control signals must reflect in the burst. Next we are going to discuss our H ready. H ready. A slave must only sample the address and the control signals when H ready is high. This is the control signal and which shows that when the address and the control signals should be sampled by slave. Only when H ready is high, then only they are get sampled. If high is asserted, and it also indicates that the previous transfer is completed successfully, and if it is low, indicates that there is a wait operation, that is the previous transaction takes time to complete. This takes complete. H ready is asserted low in the first cycle, and these are some noting points which you need to get useful in the later slides. H ready, how H ready behaves. Actually, H ready is asserted low in the first cycle of error, retry and split response, and H ready is high in the second cycle of error, retry and split response. And based on this H ready, these transfers make some changes, and we will come to know it how H ready influence these transfers. Next is H response. It is a 2-bit signal and it has 4 responses. One is OK response, error response and split and retry. OK and split and retry. Next is, now we will come to know what is OK response. OK response is a response from slave to the master. When H ready is high, OK response shows that transfer has completed successfully. Before we have know that when H ready is high, it shows that my transfer has completed, and along with H ready is high and H response also should be OK to make that, to confirm that the transfer has completed successfully. When H ready is low, that shows that priority is given to one of the 3 responses. One is error, retry and split. That means we have know that when H ready is low, next is error response. This response shows that error has occurred. That means the slave intimate to the master some error has occurred. This error condition should be signaled to the bus master so that it ever the transfer has been unsuccessful, and it requires it is a 2 cycle response is required. That means for about 2 cycles this error will bear. This error continues for two cycles. One thing is it conveys to the master that error has occurred, and that conveying also happens in the 2 cycles. Other is retry. It shows that master transfer has not yet completed, so the bus master should retry the transfer. The master should continue to retry the transfer until it completes. A 2 cycle retry response is required. That means if a slave says that the transfer of the master has not yet completed, so then not yet completed, so that the bus is asset is given access to the other master, but the master which has a response to the retry should always continue to should always try to request the bus. It can request the bus until the transfer has completed. And and retry also happens in the 2 cycles. The split, the same behavior how the retry and split also occurs. There is one simple priority difference between the retry and split. When this slave response is retry and split, if retry and split, the master, the arbiter can allocate bus to the transfer which is required retry and split when it is reported to the arbiter. We will know it with more details, with more examples in my later slides. One thing you need to at this stage just keep note on that error, split and retry are continued for 2 cycles with a response to the master. That's it. Now I will explain you with retry an example with the waveform. Next is H master. This is a signal from the arbiter which indicates that currently which master is currently granted the bus. Using H bus masters 3:0. Since we have a limit of 16 masters, it is also bounded with 3:0 signals. And this can be used to control the central address and the control multiplexer. We have seen that before. Here we have address and the control mux, write data mux, and these are coming from arbiter. Right now, this H master is used to control the central address and the control multiplexer. The master number is also required to split master capable slave so that they can be indicated to the arbiter which master is able to capable split transaction. So this split and retry mainly depends upon some other external signal that we'll come to know. Other signal left are H mask lock, H split X, H grant, H lock X and H burst. In this I will explain about H grant, and I will move to the waveform explanation, and H split X and H mask lock, H lock X will come to know in the waveforms with an example explanation. H grant X, since all the masters has sent the bus request to the arbiter, this H grant signal will allocate the bus to the master based on some priority. That means grant signal is generated by the master indicates that appropriate master is currently in the highest priority request in the bus, taking into account the local transfer and split transfer. Master gains the ownership of address bus when H grant is high and H ready is high at the rising edge of the clock. That means H grant can give access to the bus when H ready is high at the pausing edge of the clock, and it shows which master has to access the bus. Even all has send the request which has the highest priority. Based on priority, it allocates the bus. After that, we'll come to H split X and H lock X and H mask lock. when this scenario importance has come in my next slides. Next we are going to know about the non-sequential transfer. Now we are going to learn how the orbiter behaves for a sequential transfer. Before I have explained that what is non-sequential transfer. It is an independent transfer whose address and control signals are independent of its previous transfer, right? And it is a single transfer. And if you have seen here, there are different signals: H lock, H bus request, H lock, H split, H grant, H tran, H bus, H to response, H master lock. In these signals, if you have seen here, we have 5 clock cycles. In these 5 clock cycles, if you examine this T1, at T1 clock cycles, H bus request is low, and H lock is low. Since we are not performing any lock to transfer, H lock is low, and split is also low, and H grant is low. Since of all the signals H grant is low, means my bus is free is indicated by the orbiter to the masters in T1 cycle. So that is why at T1 H grant is low, so master can send the bus request. What happened at T2 is all the master starts requesting the bus, but on priority third master is more appropriate. Whereas what happened T3 is H grant is high. Since H grant is high, orbiter grant bus to the third master. So orbiter grant bus to the third master. So H trans, H burst and H ready are sampled. So in third cycle, all the H trans, that is non-sequential, H burst, that is single, and H response of OK, and all are get sampled when my bus has allocated to the third master. Whereas in on third master, and H response is OK. And if you have seen in T4 clock cycle, H response is OK. This H response OK indicates that the transfer of the master 3 has completed. In this manner, the signals of an orbiter varies for a non-sequential transfer. Next is sequential transfer. I have explained before, the sequential transfer is a transfer in which the address and control signals depends on its previous transfer. So if you have seen here, we have 8 clock cycles. In T1 clock, we have come to that H grant is low. That means the orbiter says that my bus is free, and all the master can send the request. So in T2, all the master has sent the request, but third master has given the highest priority, has most appropriate high priority. That's why H bus request orbiter to grant bus to third master, which has high priority. Whereas in T3 cycle, if you have seen here, my H grant is high. That means orbiter grant bus to third master, and control signals are sampled in this cycle, and H master is updated to third master. During this T3 cycle, my H master is updated with the third master, which has been granted the bus. Whereas in T4, T5, T6, since it is a sequential transfer, there is a continuous transfers are there, and it is a burst of wrap 4. That means there are 4 cycles, there are 4 transfers, and it is a burst of wrap 4 type. So since there are 4 transfer, even it is a sequential transfer, we have came to know that in each sequential transfer starts with a non-sequential type. So it has 4 transfer. One is non-sequential, sequential, and sequential, and which is a wrap 4. And during this T5, T6, and T7, T4, T5, T6, and sample the control signals during the sequential transfer and continues. Whereas in T7, for every of the samplings, H ready should be high, and H response should response with OK to the master. If you have seen in T7, my H response is OK, which shows that the transfer represent the third master has successfully completed and my bus is free. That means for a sequential transfer, H grant is continued for 4 cycles, and H trans varies with non-sequence, sequential, and sequential, and H burst is of wrap 4, and H response is with OK, and a T cycle it response OK indicates that whole that my bus transfer has completed successfully, and H master is updated with the third master, and after this bus transfer, H grant is again low. It indicates that my transfer has completed and my bus is free, indicated by the orbiter to the master. Now we will learn about split transfer. Slave can decide to issue a split response if it believes that transfer will take a large number of cycles to perform. The signals to the arbiter that the master which is attempting the transfer should not be granted access to the bus until the slave indicates it is ready to complete the transfer. Let's see with better calculation with example. For example, there is a master 1 which is having the high priority issued by the arbiter, which want to where the arbiter want to issue the bus to the master 1, but at that time the slave responses with split. That means it indicates that the slave shows that it takes more cycles to perform the transfer from the master to slave. That means so the arbiter cannot grant the bus to the master 1. That means it responses slave. It responses the slave responses with split to the arbiter. Now we will learn about split transfer. What is split transfer? How it behaves with an example. For example, master 1, master 2, master 3. 3 has sent their request to the arbiter, bus request, but arbiter checks whether the bus is free or it is already involved in transfer. If the arbiter feels the bus is free, then arbiter will check the priority of these 3 masters. If master 3 has given the high priority, arbiter will grant the bus to the master. So if master 1 want to access the slave 1, then what happens is arbiter granted the bus to the master, but in the next cycle the slave responses that it will split. That means it is not responsive with OK that master 1 transaction has completed, but it responds with split, which tells that it takes a large number of cycles for the transfer to complete from master 1 to slave 1. Then this is the feedback signal given to the arbiter. As you can see here, slave can decide to use split response if it believes the transfer will take a large number of cycles to perform. This signals to the arbiter that the master which is attempting to the transfer should not be granted the access to the bus until the slave indicates it is ready to complete the transfers. That means when the slave says I am ready, then only again the master can access the bus, and it is a feedback signal from the slave to the master, slave to the arbiter to provide access the bus to that same master which has the split response. In this there are 7 stages, and after this at the end we will come to know how the arbiter behaves when the split response came. Since there are about 7 steps which we need to know. First one is the master starts the transfer in an identical way to any other transfer and issues the address and the control information. Initially it starts normally. If the slave is able to provide data immediately, it may do, but if the slave decides that it takes a large number of cycles to obtain the data, then it gives a split transfer response. This is the response from slave. During the every transfer, arbiter broadcasts a number or a tag showing that which master is using the bus. The slave must record this number and it uses it to restore the transfer at a later time. Arbiter grants the other master use of this bus and the action is split. Response allows the bus master handover to occurs. If all other masters have also received the same split response, then default master is given the granted. So now the arbiter has to grant the bus to the other master. If all the masters has given the split response, then it will give to the default master. When the slave is ready to complete the transfer, it assets the appropriate H split X bus to the arbiter to indicate the master should be granted to access bus. Then the slave will raise the H split X, tell to the arbiter, now I am ready to complete that. Now I am able to finish the transfer through H split X. Then only the arbiter will allocate the bus. The arbiter will accept the H split X on every cycle, and when a bit of H split X is accepted, arbiter restores the priority of the appropriate master. Eventually, arbiter will grant the master so that it can attempt the transfer. This may not occur immediately if a higher priority is using the bus. When the transfer of eventually takes place, the slave finished with an OK transfer response. Let us have a description of this waveform. At T0, since bus is free, third master has requested the bus. At T1, master 3 has granted the bus for non-sequential transfer. Based on priority, next possible master can be granted the bus when H grant is low, that is fourth master. T2, during the data transfer of third master, transfer slave responses with H split. Since it takes time for slave to complete transfer, slave stores the number or tag of the transaction. At T3, split responses continues for second cycle in which H trans is of idle. It removes the previous transfer. And arbiter get request from H bus request based on priority. Next possible master can be granted the bus when H grant is low is first master. At T4, arbiter grant the bus to master 6 since it is split transfer. Even though we had master 1 of high priority, arbiter gives access to 6th master which are least priority or least priority. T5, during the data phase of 6th master, slave write H split and provide the stored information tag number. During this cycle, third master is given high priority on the bus. T6, the bus is granted to the third master. Conclusion, third master loses its bus because of split response at T3. Again, it's gain its bus at T6. In between cycles, another master 6 access the bus. Now we are going to discuss about the split sequential transfer. If any sequential transfer is happening, what happen and how the arbiter behaves when the slave response is split. The split is the behavior happens when slave takes large time to sample the data from master. The scenario results a split. If you have seen here, here the total split sequential transfer is explained in 7 clock cycles. In first clock cycle, we have seen here the initially the bus is free. How we can know that bus is free? From the H grant signal. You have seen here H grant signal is low. Low means that now the bus is free. So since the bus is free, all the masters send the bus request to the arbiter. Since third master, which is of highest priority, is given highest priority, is also send a request to the in the form of bus request to the arbiter. In T1 clock cycle, if you have seen here, the H master is updated with the third master. That means now the bus has given access. That means now the bus has given access to the third master in T1 clock cycle. In T1 clock cycle, if you have seen here, the transaction happening is of sequential transfer and it is of wrap bus type. Since if you have seen here, since it is of wrap 2 for 2 clock cycles and it is sequential transfer, for any sequential transfer the start transfer is of non-sequential type. So that's why in wrap 2 we have 2 clock cycles. First one is non-sequential and another is sequential. And the main thing which you need to this happens in T1. If you have seen in time in clock cycle T2, that means now the bus has given access to the third master. But what happened is during the data cycle of third master, the slave response is split, which says that it takes a lot of time to sample your data and data. So this is the time. Let us say this is the scenario where the slave response is split. And if you have seen in T3 clock cycle, since slave is since split is a 2 clock cycle response, so in H response the H response is split in 2 clock cycles. One is T2 and other is T3. One is T2 and other is T3. In these 2 clock cycles, it response is split. The one thing we need to go into observe is in T3 clock cycle, the H trans becomes idle, which shows that previous transversion to be eliminated. So that is why, since to eliminate previous transfer, H burst has no update. H burst since it has removed the previous transfer, H burst is empty. Now and we also observed that H grant is low. H grant is low means bus is free. So during the second split transfer, in second clock cycle of split, H trans becomes idle and all the bus is free and all the transaction has been removed. Since bus is free, transaction is removed, the request from the masters to the arbiters continues. So if you have seen here, H bus request at T3 clock cycles, first master is ready to access and it has highest priority. But in T4 clock cycles, if you have seen here, T4 clock cycle, in T4 clock cycle, even the first master is having high priority, but in T4 clock cycle, sixth master has given the access to has given the bus to access, because that is a main identifying point of split transfer is when the split transfer occurs, the access may not only given to the highest priority, it may given to any master. That's why it has given to the sixth master. And sixth master, since bus is given access to sixth master and all the signals, this is the first address phase of the sixth master. All the signals, all the control signals are all the address phase signals are sampled here. During the data phase signal, if you have seen here, in sixth master during his data phase, if you have seen here, the H split has become high. That means now the split slave is ready to access the master which has before sent the request to access the slave. So one thing, identified thing is when the master sends request to the arbiter, when the arbiter given access to the bus, but when the slave responds with H split, the one identified thing is the slave will note down its number or ID so that it can use it when the slave is free. When the slave is free, it can access the master which has sent his request to the arbiter. So during this time, at T5 clock cycles, when the slave is free, it has sent the H split X high. That means it sends the number or ID of the transfer which has sent its request to access that slave. So the H split X will request the arbiter to grant the access of the bus to the master which has before asked. So that's why the third master is given the highest priority. And T6 clock cycle, the third master signals or address space signals are sampled, and now the bus has given access to the third master. So this is what happening. Let us have the discussion with clear example happening here. T0, bus is free, master requesting for the bus. T1, third master is accessing the bus, but its control signals are sampled here. H master is updated. T2, slave responses with split, indicating it takes large time to sample data. T3, slave continues to respond with split, and the arbiter removes its grant to the bus, and H trans becomes idle. That is, it removes its previous transaction. H bus request arbiter for the new transaction. Whereas for T4, arbiter grant the bus for new transaction. H master is updated at 6 master. Control signals are sampled here. Since split response, arbiter does not follow the priority to grant the bus. Whereas in T5, H split responses and H bus request, third master is of highest priority. T6, so the arbiter grant bus to third master, so the H master is updated to the third master. This is the way to have the efficient access of the bus. The split transfer help us when the slave is busy to access for the master. In between them until the slave has free, another transaction can be handled. Now we are going to discuss about the split non-sequential transfer. Let us look at the waveform. In this waveform, at T0 cycle, the bus is free. Since how we can know that the bus whether is free or not? If you have seen here, at T0, the H grant is low. Since H grant is low and H response is okay, which shows that the previous transfer has completed. Now the bus is free. We can come to know that H grant is low, the bus is free at T0 cycle. Whereas in T1 cycle, since T0 cycle bus is free, third master has requested the bus. At T1 clock cycle, if you have seen that the third master has T0 third master requested the bus, whereas T1 third master has given access to the bus. How we will come to know it is here is, if you have seen here, at H master of T1 clock cycle is filled with third master. So a T1 clock cycle, third master is given access to the bus, and the transfer is of non-sequential single burst transfer. And a T2 clock cycle, what happens is, a T2 clock cycle, the slave responses with split. If you have seen here, a T2 clock cycle, slave responses with split. So since split is of 2 clock cycle, in T3 clock cycle the same split response is also okay. At T3 clock cycle the same split response is continued. Yeah, at T3 clock cycle, what are the split we have been mentioned at T2, it is continued for T2 also. So the main observable point is, in second cycle of split response, H trans is changed to ideal, so which indicates that the previous transaction is cancelled. So that's why since previous transaction is cancelled and H grant is become low, which shows that now the bus is free. So since the bus is free, the first master, which is of highest priority for the arbiter request, is available. If you have come to in fifth clock cycle, okay, in fourth clock cycle, in third clock cycle first master has request bus. In fourth clock cycle, if you have seen here, even though first master, which is of high priority, requested the bus, but we have, the protocol has given importance to the sixth master, which is not as high priority as first master, or even least priority also. The thing we need to consider is, after the split response, 2 cycle split response, the arbiter may give its bus access to may give priority to any priority. It may be have least priority or less priority. It may not be a condition to give only the high priority. So in T4 clock cycle, it has given to the sixth clock cycle, sixth master. If you have seen here in fifth clock cycle, there is a signal called H split, which has become raised from the slave. So when one thing we had recognized is, when the slave response is split, it notes the tag or number of the transaction, of the transfer for which the slave response is split. So whenever the slave is ready and free to access, and it raises the H split signal. So using the stored tag or number, it requests the arbiter to grant access to the particular master. So since now the slave is free, it is raised, and using the tag or number, the arbiter is given access to the given access to the master for which slave before has response is split. If you have seen here, the split is happened for the third master. So now in fifth clock cycle, now fifth clock cycle, third master is given the high priority, and it has requested the orbit is given the high priority, and sixth clock cycle, third master is going to access the bus. In this manner, the thing that we need to consider is, at T2 clock cycle, slave response is split, and at T6 clock cycle, slave response is split, and we have removed the transaction. A new transaction of first master transaction has been new transaction for master 1 has been enabled, and at fifth clock cycle again H split has risen high, and again the transaction for which split responses happen is continued here. The thing we understand is, before the between the slave response with the split and slave response with H split X responses, a new transaction has been takes place. That means in order to make efficient use of the bus when the slave is busy to access, in between them a new transaction has been declared is master 1 has initiated the bus transfer. Now we are going to discuss about retry response. Before we have learned about split response. Look at this here. In retry response there are some of the required conditions which need to be known. The first thing is the slave which issues retry response must only be accessed by one master at a time. Generally the general peripherals are the slaves which issues these retry responses. So the second thing is when a slave issues retry, it can sample the master number. Third is the master can check after completion of every transfer attempt that is made to ensure the master number is the same. So first it is actually generally used by peripherals. After the slave generally samples the master number, and after retry slave checks after completion of every transfer attempt that is made to ensure that master number is the same. Next, fourth thing is if it ever detects the master number is different, then it can take an alternative course of action such as retry response, signal to the arbiter, or system level interrupt and completion system reset. These are the four important things which you need to know while performing retry responses. The difference between split and retry is after split response the arbiter may grant bus to any master independent of priority, whereas after retry response arbiter grant the bus to master based on priority. It only grant to the master whose master ID it has been stored to that particular master only. So once again look here, a slave which issue retry response must only be accessed by the one master at a time. When slave issues retry, it can be sample the master number. Retry slave can check after completion of every transfer attempt, that is to made to ensure that master number is the same. It ever detects the master number is different, then it can take an alternative course of action such as error response, signal to the arbiter, and system level interrupt and complete system reset. And the difference is the split arbiter may grant bus to any master independent of priority, whereas retry arbiter may grant bus to the master based on priority. Let us look at the example of an retry non-sequential transfer. If you have seen here, this is the same as a split non-sequential transfer. It has the 7 clock cycles and T1 clock cycle. My bus is free, so bus is written down through using H grant since H grant is low. So in T2 clock cycles all the masters send the bus request, but the fourth master is of bus request, but third master is of highest priority. That is why the bus has granted to third master, which can be known by using since H master is updated with the third master. In T3 clock cycle the bus is updated to third master, but the slave responsible with retry, which means that now I am busy and I can't continue to take the transfer. So that's why in T3 clock cycle it responses with retry. At T4 clock cycle, the second, since retry and split on the 2 cycle responses, the retry continues for second clock cycle at T4 clock cycle, and at T4 clock cycles it has become at T4 clock cycle the H trans becomes ideal. That means it is removing the previous transfers, and the first master so since H trans is ideal and H grant is low, the bus is free. Now the masters send the request to the arbiter. The first master is having the high priority, and at T5 clock cycle the fifth master is given access to the is given authority to access the bus. At T6 clock cycle H split X signal has become high, which shows that now the slave is ready to access the particular master which before it has requested to access it.
Now HSP takes hasn't takes place. Since HSP hasn't takes place, while the slave responds with retry, it stores the it stores the ID of the transaction, and when the HSP take has been takes place, it tells to arbiter to access the bus, and it stores IDX. Now when the multiple transfer when all the masters are trying to access the bus, it sends a bus request. The thing that retry slave is do is it just compares with the stored ID with all the masters which are requesting the bus. If it sees that if it matches the ID of the master which has requested the bus earlier and the master which is requesting the bus, then it will access the bus. If it does not find any matching, and it gives the 3 errors, which shows that error response, signal to arbiter, system level interrupt, and the completion of the system reset. So since retry response has been takes place, so in the next clock cycle, before you have seen here the third during the third master accessing the bus, the slave resources with retry. So after the split responses, so the head split X, when after the head split X rises, the next in the clock has been given the priority to the third master. The difference is after the slave response is split and retry, whereas in split the bus may be accessed to any of the slaves, whereas in retry the bus is accessed only the master which is in highest priority, which is the first. If you have seen here in T4 clocks, the first master is of highest priority, that is why it has given access to the first master. And the same as it is in split and retry also, if the slave will split and retry also, the slave will compare the master ID with all the master which are requesting the bus. But what happened in retry is the slave will compare the ID with master request ID, and when it matches, then only it will again access to the bus. Where in HSP the arbiter directly provides access to the bus. Conclusion: it is same as a split non-sequential transfer. The difference is after the slave responses in split, arbiter provides a bus access independent of priority, whereas slave responses retry, arbiter provides the bus access independent priority. The retry slaves can check after the completion of every transfer attempt that is made to ensure that master number is the same. It ever detects that the master number is different, then it can take an alternative course of action such as error response, signal to arbiter, system level interrupt, and complete system reset. Now we are going to discuss about retry sequential transfer. Initially we will see the conclusions. It has same as split. The sequential transfer differ is after slave response with split, arbiter provide bus access independent of priority, whereas slave response with retry, arbiter provide bus access dependent priority. Retry slave can check after completion of every transfer attempt that is made to ensure that master number is the same. If it ever detects, it gives the same 4 responses. If you have seen here, we have 7 clock cycles. T1, bus is free, came to know H grant is low. T2, bus has given access to the third master which is has requested to access it. At T3, it has response with retry. Since 2 clock cycle response, the second clock cycle H trans becomes idle. H trans becomes idle. Whereas in T5 clock cycle, the first master which has been requesting the bus of highest priority is given access to the bus since it is updated with first master. At T6 clock cycle, H plate X signal has become high, and so now the bus has the bus has become empty since H grant is low. At T7 clock cycle, bus has given access to the third master for which the reader response takes place. The one thing is here it is a sequential transfer, which you can know is in H trans that every sequential transfer is a non-sequential transfer. Here I have been using the sequence is of wrap2 sequence, and since it is of wrap2, so it has 2 transfers. One is non-sequential, and then afterwards we will have a sequential transfer. This is the conclusions of the sequential retry transfer. Non-sequential error transfer is the one which is completely different from the split and retry. In error transfer, for the master for which the slave responds with error, it doesn't allocate the access of the bus to that master. It will allocate the bus to the master when after all the completed bus request is to the arbiter, then only it will allocate the master to that slave. Whereas before split and retry, the arbiter will based on the when hsplitx becomes high, then the arbiter will ensure that the slave is free to ready the access, then it will assign the master for which the slave responds with retry split. But whereas here the slave doesn't respond with anything. When the slave responds with retry, when the slave responds with error, it doesn't allow the bus. We will come to know the example. Here we have 6 clock cycles. In T1 clock cycle, H grant is low. H grant is which knows that bus is free. At T2 clock cycle, third master has requested the bus, and T3 clock cycle, third master has given access to the bus. Since third master has given access to the bus, all the control signals are sampled here. The strands of the third master is non-sequential and H burst is single. At T4 clock cycle, at a T4 clock cycle, T4 clock cycle, the slave response is with error. We have seen H response at T4 clock cycle, the slave response with error, and since error is at 2 clock cycle, it again continues for one more clock cycle up to T5 clock cycle. Since at T5 clock cycle, the H grant again becomes low since the H grant has become the ideal. Since ideal means sorry, here it is not IDEAL, it is IDLE, ideal, which will remove is the previous transfer. Since it removes the previous transfer, so my bus is free now. So 6 master has given the 6 master is of high priority of requesting the bus is on high priority. So in T6 clock cycle, 6th master has given the priority to access the bus. So all the control signals of 6 masters are sampled here. The one thing is here the third master which has been responsive with error, again it is not allocated to that slave, since it doesn't get any feedback from the slave to provide access to that master. So it must wait till all the masters which have been accessing the arbiter. Once it completes, then only it gets access to that particular slave. Let us look here. Here T1 bus is free since H grant is low. T1 bus is free since H grant is low. T2 master requests the arbiter for bus. So in T2 bus is free, master has requested arbiter the bus, that is why H bus request as third master. At T3 arbiter grants the bus for third master. Since the arbiter grants the bus to the arbiter, this will come to know by using H master is updated with third master. At T4 arbiter grant the bus. T4 slave responds with error for third master transfer. T4 the slave responds with error for the third master. Since we have seen here error response, it have one for two clock cycle. Error response H ready becomes low for the first clock cycle and high for the second clock cycle, and H trans becomes ideal for the second clock cycle of error response. It is for T4. Then in T5 arbiter removes the grant for the third master and master request for the buses. Since at T5 it has become ideal, so it removes the previous transfers and the bus becomes ideal. T6 cycle 6th master is granted the bus. Now we will see how the error transfer occurs for sequential transfer. Since I have said it is a sequential transfer, that is why here I have mentioned here H trans is of H bus is of WRAP4. WRAP4 means it allows 4 transfers. So that's why since every sequential transfer started with a non-sequential transfer, the T3 is started with a non-sequential, T4 with sequential, T5 with sequential, T6 with sequential. Since H grant is always high for all this all these transfers. Now we'll look at this, how this sequential transfer will get erected with the error transfer. If you have seen here, the T1 bus is free since H grant is low. If you have seen here, the T1 clock cycle, it has H grant becomes low, so that means bus is free. At T2 clock cycle, third master has requested the bus. At T3 clock cycle, the third master has given access to the bus. arbiter grant the bus and control axis are sampled here. Since third master has given the axis at T3 clock cycle, the third H master is updated with third master and all the control signals are sampled here. At T4 and T5, the sampling of sequential transfer occurs. Since at T4 and T5 clock cycles, since it is sequential transfer, what are the operations for a sequential transfer performance characteristics that will continue for T4 and T5? So up to T4 and T5 clock cycle, the third master has given the axis. At T6 clock cycle, T6, the slave response with error. If you have seen a T6 clock cycle, the slave responses with error. Thus we can be able to know it with H responses. Every clock cycle, since a T5 clock cycle, the slave response means that he has completed the previous transfer. And the normal operation occurs, wherein T6 clock cycle it says that it's an error response. So the second cycle, since error response is a 2 clock cycle, at fourth transfer of the WRAP4, the slave response with error, and since it is a 2 clock cycle, and up to T7 clock cycle also the error response continue, and 7 clock cycle error response it becomes ideal. It means that my bus is it has, sorry here it is not IDAL, it is IDLE, which removes its previous transfers, whereas since it removes its previous transfer, bus is free. 6th master has been requested the bus. Requested bus at T7 clock cycle. The 6th master has been access given to the bus. We came to know is H master is updated 6th master, and all the control signals are sampled here. It is same as non-sequential transfer, but here in between the sequential transfer, what happened with an error response occurs.